Hey indie game fans! Looking back at January, it was indeed quite a good month for new games, nothing huge but some quality titles nonetheless. So the top 10 best hidden gems of the month starts with Webscoe Boy. This Switch-only action-adventure RPG has been long waited for me personally, but as you guys know, I don't own a Switch, so I will have to hold off for a little while. This isn't doing so hot on Metacritic, but it seems to have its charm. The wonderful art style, the ability to equip different hits, music and writing seems to be the main draw, with a common complaint being technical issues. Hopefully some patches will get this sorted, or if the power of other platforms will push it through. I'm usually not super into text-based narrative games, but for some reason, Self called out to me. This has you playing as a child whose father has vanished, but everyone doesn't seem to care. So there seems to be some psychological, if not supernatural elements at play here. There are some Undertale-style meta minigames, your usual choice-based narrative options, and some interesting oddities in the game design, with a central story that seems quite intriguing. I'm a big fan of developers taking classic arcade titles and putting their own spin on it, and Dragonoid is the latest one that caught my eye. This is the classic Brick Breaker Arcanoid, where you draw the pedal when the ball reaches the lower parts of the screen. Add to that bullet time, explosions, power-ups, multiple modes, and an oh-so-cool neon aesthetic, and you have a great arcade experience. I've brought this up a couple of times, but the Coma 2 Vicious Sisters is the follow-up to a cult classic Korean horror title from Espresso Games, developer of the equally beautiful Embrace Cold Soul. While you were trapped in a school with a psychotic killer in the first game, in this sequel, you are instead being pursued by a demoness, but you are free to roam the surrounding streets and areas around the school as you solve puzzles, discover clues, and fight for survival. Rather than relying on jump scares, this instead creates a super effective, unsettling atmosphere and is one for horror fans.
realized the consequences of him coming to power. Some even hoped he would save Germany. But we knew better.
Through the Darkest of Times is a management strategy game set in Nazi Germany where you have to lead the fledgling resistance, sending people on missions to deal small blows to the regime. These can range from spreading leaflets to painting messages on walls, but of course, it is of utmost importance to stay undercover and safe. There is a narrative thread that is based on history, and again, fun isn't the right word to describe this game, but definitely worth a play with an art style that stands out.
Do you even know why you're here? You're just a barbarian. A savage, born to be a slave.
First-person melee is a difficult thing to get right, and precious few games manage to actually do so, and I'm glad to say that Elderborn passes with flying colours.
You have no idea what you're up against. There is power here, much greater than you can imagine.
One description which I have seen is Dark Messiah of Might and Magic with Souls-like progression, where you play as a barbarian and enter the City of Doom, wielding 11 different melee weapons with a skill tree and progression.
Where so many have failed.
The soundtrack goes hand in hand with the action, and it's just all action all the time.
Come, if you dare.
Something horrifying happened to humanity, and it's up to a band of bantering robots to unravel the mystery.
I got quite a pleasant surprise when I played some of Terraforming Earth, since this is a puzzle platformer akin to The Lost Vikings, where you control 3 robots with different abilities and must use these to get through the procedurally generated levels. You go on missions in order to gather resources, which are used in the light base building aspect, where you create more robots, with the ultimate goal of terraforming the planet, which has become barren this many years into the future. Quite the clever little game which I found myself playing more than expected.
Can you restore life on Earth? Terraforming Earth. Out now on Steam.
If you love games like Enter the Gungeon, Ether Loop will be of interest. This is a bullet hell roguelite shooter with some pretty impressive attack patterns, an interesting blink mechanic, and quite a neat art style, which, while not the most beautiful, does have its charm. You know the drill by now. Gather items and weapons on your run as you fight your way to the boss with unlimited item synergies that allow these effects to stack. Do be warned that it doesn't have as much content as some of these other titles, but a well-made hidden gem for sure.
In Neighborwood, there are powerful warriors. But coffee is not one of them.
Always the same story with you, Coffee. Stop playing video games and start putting some effort already.
I'm working on a groundbreaking project for low-level mercenaries.
A couple of you from the Spanish YouTube community have pointed this game out to me, but Coffee's Quest Alpha Mod is actually a pretty great RPG.
Coffee, sound the horn!
You want me to go alone?
I don't want to get in the way.
I'll grow strong by breaking stuff.
My bow is ready!
Water creature present!
If you help a mole will help you.
I'll join you.
You what?
Working for humans? Never!
There's a lot more map than the places you've been to, kid.
This features Coffee, a weak, lazy, and unlucky video game character who stumbles into an epic quest with some pretty funny dialogue and interesting mechanics. There are fourth wall breaking elements, but a surprising amount of polish, even to the extent of almost full voice acting.
The ground you stand on is but a remnant of our past.
I'll capture you and take you to some corner of the game you can't get out of.
You can summon and control troops in an almost RTS-like fashion, with a world filled with strange and interesting characters as well.
Honestly.
Beginnings are always tough. What's important is not to lose your motivation.
I believe that the characters in this game first started out as a web animation series, and for it to be fully developed into a game is sure to be a treat for the fans. However, I myself have not watched that series and managed to find this pretty enjoyable as well.
You go do whatever you want. I'm not getting off this couch. I hate you!
This is all my fault. I saw all the signs, but I just wrote them off. It was just so much easier to believe that I was just imagining things. I can feel it coming for me. And I think it wants to hurt me. Or worse.
FMV games have managed to find their niche in the indie game market, and the latest great title is Simulacra 2. A fitness influencer is dead, and you play as either a detective or reporter and must explore her phone in order to solve the mystery. The acting is surprisingly well done, with some truly creepy and horrifying footage. But these sorts of meta elements, like messing around with a phone and the fake social media apps on it, is quite an interesting curiosity in game design, most obviously influenced by our modern life. This is from a Malaysian indie developer, so Asia represent, but an intriguing mystery and a well-made game, taking the #1 spot. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, share and subscribe. Check out the recommended playlist or the best pick for you, and I will see you after the jump.